Hello everyone, my name is BuddyBear83 and welcome back to Password. Now, I know in the last video I said I would upload part 3 in August. Well, there was some technical difficulties, as you can see. Thankfully though, I was taking a video class. I knew what was wrong, and I'm hoping I can do a lot more now. Now that the next 4 months, I will be free to make more videos, so I won't stall much longer than I used to be. In the meantime, let's get started on day 3. Despite going to bed recently, calm after talking to Dean, I didn't sleep well. I was up early, my body telling me that I had enough rest. Not that I felt rested, my head was still spinning. I let my eyes wander. The bedroom, I calmed as my own, but it lacked the familiar comforts of home. The house was giving me an odd feeling. Was it the vault? Was it the lack of staff? Was it something else? Even then, what was hidden behind the door? Was it something important, like Roswell thought? My thoughts raced, thought my mind as I hear other things going on in the house, or at least I assume that's what I was hearing. Rolling over, I wondered if it was worth taking Dean up on his offer, and I grabbed my phone. It was early, and wondered if my paranoia was worth. Rolling over, I wondered if it was worth taking Dean up on his offer, and I grabbed my phone. It was early, and wondered if my paranoia was worth bothering one of the others. I already started flicking through my contacts, having made up my mind. All that was left was deciding who to message. I know he said Dean, but let's see if Sal is up. Sal was grounded, while a few others he typically knew what to say to bring things back under control. I typed out a message and hit send. The reply came almost immediately, making me blink in confusion. For a moment, I wondered if I had passed out and only came to after some time had passed. But no, it seemed that Sal must have had his phone in hand. His reply said to meet him outside. He given the time. He was likely up to do his morning routine. I got dressed, still in the daze as I left my room. The house was quiet and dark as I made my way downstairs and outside. Sure enough, Sal was waiting for me as I stepped outside, gesturing me to follow. We stopped at the pool, Sal opening the gate and holding it open as we both passed through. Lay down. What? Where? Lay down on the chair. He gestured to one of the poolside chairs, and I lay down. Suddenly I felt like I was at the therapist's office, but how Sal sat down on one besides me. Like this? Roll over. As I rolled over, Sal got back up and straddled the chair, placing his hands on my shoulders. Right as I was about to open my mouth, Sal dug his fingers into my shoulders and neck, massaging them, and making me moan softly in his grasp. Relax. Talk. Easier said than done, as he worked his magic, but as the stress started to fall away, I was able to bring my thoughts back into words. So, in this house, does it seem off to you? Off. Of how? Like, well, the lack of staff. Yeah, that's one reason. And the other. Well, something just feels off. He pulled away, sitting back and letting me roll back over so we could face one another. I wouldn't worry. You're safe. I shifted uncomfortably, unsure of what to do with my hands. Am I? What if something bad happens? What if... Then I'll protect you. Oh! Oh my god, that is so sweet. Oh my god. You'll protect me? I saw Sal's cheek flush for a moment before he cleared his throat. He leaned in, eyes locked on mine before I felt him roughly jab my chest. You're soft. Without another word, he stood up, peeling his shirt off and wandering closer to the pool. He looked over his shoulder at me, smiling again as he kicked off his pants and dove into the water. Ooh. He moved gracefully in the water, but now that a lot of my troubles had been put to rest by the reassurance I had one, if not multiple bodyguards, I returned to my room to rest up before breakfast. Oh, wow, that was so sweet. Much like the first night, I was the last one to arrive to breakfast. And once again, I had free calls as to who to sit next to. Oh, this is new. Oh shit. Okay, we're gonna save. Just ignore those roads. Let's try with Dean. Dean seemed somewhat relaxed, sitting with a cup of coffee and just lounging back in his chair. Morning.
Morning. Sleep well after last night?
Not really, but I feel better now. I feel even better once I get some coffee in me.
Well, you're in luck. Brewed a fresh pot earlier. I mean, I was planning on it being just for me, but...
A quick scan of the table showed that there was more than just the one pot. The second sitting closer to a couple of the others. Dean, however, seemed to have one all to himself. You really have one for yourself?
Hey, I went through the effort. Besides, I could drink this whole thing by myself, no problem.
That's a lot of caffeine. You'll be shaking if you drink the whole thing.
Never underestimate my capability to drink coffee, Dave.
I watched as my eyes seemed to assess the amount of coffee he had left.
Okay, so maybe this is a bit much. Help a bear out?
Without even waiting for my reply, he poured me a cup, added sugar, milk, and slid it over.
Here. You still take it the same way, right?
Yeah. White with 1 sugar.
Oh, good.
Just sipping it felt invigorating. I was either officially old to enjoy the taste this much, or that... Just sipping it felt invigorating. I was either officially old to enjoy the taste this much, or that far gone that I needed it to be functional.
So, what are the plans for today?
Haven't really thought about it.
Well, How about we spend the day together? Just look around at stuff and see if we can find anything interesting.
Just wandering the mansion?
Well, yeah. Promise there's no alternative motive. Just figure it's better than doing it by myself.
Well, alright. I can tag along. Got bored of the greenhouse already?
Nah, but I figure it'd be better to check out the mansion sooner rather than later. Eat your fill, and when you're ready, you'll head out on... Eat your fill. When you're ready, we'll head out now.
You're done eating already?
Nah, not even a little bit.
Almost as if the challenge was posted, Dean started gobbling food left and right to load up his plate. Muffins, toast, fruit. It wasn't the full cholesterol breakfast you get at a swanky hotel, but it was close. I followed suit, loading up and tucking in, looking about the table. Everyone else seemed to be in the same frame of mind, eating merrily, occasionally grabbing more food from the platters in front of them. When we eaten our fill, Dean pushed away from the table, sighing contentedly.
Alright, I'm done.
I forgot how much you could eat.
You calling me fat? Besides, I was keeping track of what you were eating too. You're one to talk.
Hey, I was hungry.
Well, come on. We've got a mansion to explore.
Alright. Whoops.
Alright. Where to first?
What, you want me to pick?
Nah, I'll lead on. I figured you had enough of a shot wandering around, yeah?
Hey, you don't know that.
Well, what's the alternative? Just waiting around until the next meal?
Well, wouldn't you like to know?
Come on, I heard the pool is worth checking out from Sal. We'll start there.
Dean led the way towards the back. Without stopping, he started heading towards the pool away from where the greenhouse was set up.
So, this is the pool, huh?
Yep, this is a pool, alright?
Hey, I can hear you. Hey, I can hear your sarcasm loud and clear, you know.
Sorry.
Still, this place is huge. Much bigger than what I assumed would be needed for just a single family, right?
You got that right, but the mansion as a whole just screams of being too big for... You got that right, but the mansion as a whole just screams of being too big, right?
With the amount of bedrooms there are, no kidding. Maybe it was a hotel at some point.
Like, Oh wait, no, that movie had a motel. Never mind. Dean got closer at the edge of the pool and suddenly jumped back, yelling in the wake of a large splash.
Dude!
In the next moment, Sal climbed out of the water. What?
What do you mean, what? Almost drenched me.
You were close to the edge. I thought you were coming to swim.
Do I look like I'm dressed for swimming?
Well, I'm sure if given the choice, Dean would be moist all the time. It wasn't enough to seemingly fit Dean's spirits, but I caught the faintest smirk before he went back to sulking. Have you come to swim? Nah, Dean's just checking out the mansion. Apparently he's been holed up in the greenhouse this whole time. Oh. Well, the water is nice.
Is it heated?
In parts. Sal then pointed to one area of the pool where what appeared to be a jacuzzi hanging off the side.
A jacuzzi? Here?
Sal and I followed Dean over to the hot tub where he quickly got on all fours and tested the temperature.
Only lukewarm. That's disappointing.
The controls are over there against the wall. Sal pointed to a small panel with only a few buttons and an LCD screen.
Go on, Dave. Try turning it on.
It seemed easy enough given how few buttons there were. The two triangular ones I assumed controlled the temperature. The black one next to them, though. Here we go! I pressed the button and almost immediately the sound of pump whirled from somewhere nearby. And the next moment, bubbles started rolling within the jacuzzi.
Oh. It works. What's the temperature set at? It works. What's the temperature set to anyway?
The panel that was once blank now just read medium. It says medium. Doesn't really tell much on. It says medium. Doesn't really tell much more than that. Dean splashed around in the water for a little bit before standing back up and whipping his hand on his shirt.
It's warming up still. Wonder how hot this thing goes. Might have to try it out at some point.
This seems fine to me. I don't think I want hotter. I tested the water for myself. Last bath I took was much hotter than this. Most showers I take are hotter too.
Nothing beats a hot shower. Helps getting deep under the fur to get that curd out when you need to.
How often does that happen? Muffin crumbles, I guess. Or barbecue sauce.
Hey, that's not entirely...
Given how I've seen Dean put away, no surprise that he get food in his fur.
What is it? What is this? Pick on Dean Day?
I was joking. I was too. Sal's snort following set me off, and despite the daggers Dean was staring at me, I began to giggle.
Hey!
Sorry. In the same breath, Sal dove back into the pool, leaving Dean and I by ourselves.
Well, whatever. I can at least see that there's showers here too. Just as well, chlorine does weird things to your fur. Let's just wash it out as soon as you can. Anyway, let's check out things inside. Apparently, there are things to do there too. Come on.
Dean led the way out, closing the gate behind us.
You know, now that there's a hot tub, I might have to come out here. Now that there's a hot tub, I might have to come out late at night to just relax, of course. But would be better with some company.
I just followed Dean around up the stairs until we wandered into the conservatory.
What room is this supposed to be? A reading room?
It's a conservatory. I guess you could call it a reading room. There was a bookcase against one of the walls, and there was books on it, but they almost seemed like ledges as opposed to novels.
Reminds me of the greenhouse, except, well, for people.
Kinda. I mean, it has a lot of natural light, windows and all. Dean wandered over to the windows and looked down at the yard, then visibly scanned the tree line of the surrounding forest.
Looks like there's no neighbors as far as I can tell. Just as well.
Oh god, I don't like the sound of that. Are we literally... Is this mansion literally in the middle of the forest? Oh god, that can't be good. Yeah?
Yeah, like, who's to say you aren't here late at night when the lights are on? Someone could just look up. Yeah, like, who's to say you aren't here late at night with the lights on? Someone could just look right in.
Haas said the same thing. Well, mention that you could. Haas said the same thing. Well, mention that you need a telescope or something to look in.
Although, look down there.
Dean pointed to the start of the forest, breaks in the trees.
You could probably see in just fine from down there, assuming you were sitting close enough to the window.
You reckon?
Well, if you weren't that desperate, you could always climb one of those trees anyway.
I don't like any of these suggestions. Why would you be that desperate to see into this room?
Who knows? I mean, maybe if there was some secret meeting that was taking place and they locked the door. Or maybe a murder was taking place.
I don't want to assume that was foreshadowing, but I don't know. Oh my god.
Or maybe just some pervert wanting to watch two people have some very intimate time together.
God, this is like a straightforward horror movie now. Jesus. Do we know anyone that perverted? Let's see. Could he be standing right in front of us?
Do we know two people that hook up in a room like this?
We both laughed it off, but the thought had occurred to me. There wasn't anyone stopping Dean and I from just letting off some steam right now. Or at the very least, not right now, at some point. Just thinking about it made me shift uncomfortably, and it seemed as though Dean had been thinking similar things. So,
Yeah?
should we, you know...
What? Right now? Here?
What? No, I mean, continue looking.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Onwards.
You need to have your virginity if you want to stay alive in this game. That's all I'm gonna say. And so we continue down the hall. All these people better be virgins, I swear to God. I mean, there's no girls, at least that's good. Sorry, I love Final Girls. Oh, hello, Dave. I ran into Roswell as we entered the games room. He was seemingly on his way out. Oh, is Dean with you?
Yep, just checking out the mansion.
Yeah, what about you though, Roswell? Me? Just checking things out as well. Did you know that this room has a bunch of stuff in it?
Looks like a casino to me. You're talking slot machines and stuff?
Yes, I know. Come on, I'll show you. Roswell led the way into the room, wandering over to one of the cabinets against the wall. Dean, meanwhile, was cooling at the decor and any other little thing that made that place look like the part of a casino. Ah, here it is. Check it out. There was a soft swirl as a panel on the wall slid to the side. Various board games lingering the walls like you find at a game store. Whoa, there's so many of them.
Oh man, I haven't played any of these. Oh man, I haven't played any of these for years.
I know. Most of them can cater for all of us too, if we ever wanted to play a big game. Wait, did we skip something? No. Wouldn't that take a while?
Well, unless we played something like Monopoly without playing the actual rules, then yeah. But most of these should see maybe an hour or two of play.
There's more. Just a sec. Roswell was standing at the cabinet and fiddled with something else on the inside. I caught a glimpse of the control panel. Sure enough, another panel in the wall opened, revealing a large screen along with the array of gaming consoles shelved underneath. We have video games too. All right. What are we talking about? So this was 2019. So do we have any Switches? PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones, or maybe a VR headset? So we don't have to. So if we didn't want to play all the same game, we could split into 2 groups or something. Oh yeah, Orlando was saying something about there being video games here, although he thought it was just a projection or something. Oh, that's easily explained. The control panel has a label for a projector. Oh, that's easily explained. The control panel has a label for a projector too, plus a small diagram of where everything is. He probably just assumed they ran together. Really though, it's more playing games and stuff, I think. Don't know why you wouldn't just run it off the gaming consoles though. Oh, thank God. Dean was impressed, eyes wide and giggly.
Awesome. Here I thought I would just be gardening every day. What games do they have here?
Yes! What are some good games we have? Honestly, I don't know. You don't know? I haven't been able to find any, but maybe they're preloaded. Ooh.
Well, that's kind of disappointing.
No, it's not. Maybe we can play some Puppet Combo or more Puppet Combo. Well, hey, why don't we check what's on there? Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Turn it on, Roswell.
Sure thing. Roswell flicked some more switches on the panel and the consoles all booted up. Dean, meanwhile, grabbed a controller and started navigating through menus to see what was loaded on there. Anything good? Dean froze, putting the controller down.
This is insane!
Dave, do you see the list? There's thousands of games. But that's impossible, right? I thought games were huge.
Good point. Maybe it is too good to be true.
Well, maybe, but they're definitely loaded. There's a custom setup after all. Maybe they tricked... Well, maybe, but they definitely loaded. This is a custom setup after all. Maybe they tricked out the consoles too. Who's they? The people that lived here? Dunno, but we get to use them all at the same time. Dean and Roswell talked about the games, going through the list far too quickly for me to keep pace before we left the room. Dean apparently needed to get something from his bedroom, so we headed there first.
Won't be too long.
I watched as Dean went into his institute and closed the door behind him. I could hear him merely humming on the other side of the door, doing who knows what. Guess I'll chill here then. The bedrooms didn't have much in the way of chairs, so I just sat down on the bed. It was much the same as the one in my room. Guess they bought them in bulk. The only difference was that Dean had left his largely unmade. Looks like you're drooling your sleep tool, Dean. Among the loose bits of fur on the pillow was a damp patch. At least I assumed it was drool.
What are you doing?
Ah, Dean.
Caught you red-handed doing something.
No, I was just, your pillow.
My pillow?
Yeah, you drool in your sleep, dude.
Oh yeah, I guess I do. Wasn't really expecting having a guest over. Guess I better make sure it's all tidy for next time you're here.
Oh yeah, who's going to say there's a next time?
Well, you never know. I could get lucky.
Get lucky? Huh?
Well, yeah, but you might also just come back and... Well, yeah, but you might also just come check in on me at some point. Who knows? But we've got the rest of the house to explore. Plus lunch. Come on, I could eat.
Dean and I headed to the dining room to see if it was lunchtime. But when we got there... Oh, shit. Okay. Who started it? Roswell, you're the smartass, so you probably pissed him off. Really, anyone could have heard the yelling as they approached, but entering made it all the worse. Seemed as though everyone heard it, as everyone else filled in close behind. Who are you calling a dog, pig? That's... Roswell and Tyson were on opposite sides of the table, Tyson snarling and hunched over one of the chairs, looking like he about to jump it. Roswell and Tyson were on the opposite sides of the table, Tyson snarling and hunched over on one of the chairs, looking like he jumped over it.
What? What's going on?
The porker called me a dog. I didn't, I swear. Roswell made a break for it, hiding behind Cell. Tyson was right behind him, stopping shy of Cell and snarling up as the massive crocodile and... Roswell made a break for it, hiding behind Cell. Tyson was right behind him, stopping shy of Cell and snarling up at the mass of crocodile in his way. What happened? Cell looked back at Roswell, opting to address him rather than the wolf in front of him, making Ty back off in a huff.
No one's hurt, right? You didn't, you know.
Ty looked like he was about to explode, eyes bulging and the corners of his mouth turned downward. By comparison, Roswell was merely clinging to the back of Sal's shirt, using him as a physical barrier. I needed answers, and I didn't like the idea of two of them fighting. Maybe it was just a simple misunderstanding. I looked between Roswell and Tyson, clearing my throat. Tyson, what happened? Tyson, what happened? Asking Ty must have calmed him a little, as rather than seen full-blown rabid as hell. Asking Tyson must have cleared him a little, as rather than seem full-blown raid. He was now only mildly flustered. Wow. He shot Roswell a dirty look before looking back at me, hands still balled up. He shot Roswell a dirty look before looking back at me, hands still balled up into fists. Call me a dog to my face. Lupus, I'm a wolf, damn it. I don't go play fetch. No sooner than Tyson had spoken, Roswell stepped out from behind Sal, stopping his feet. I told you. I told you. It's Canis lupus. Lupus. It's still a canine. See, he's doing it again. Ty pointed at Roswell, shooting him a desperate look. I wonder if this is what it was like to have children. I wasn't like this as a kid, was I? This is what you're fighting about, really? Yeah, guys, there's plenty of other reasons we could be fighting, and you chose that, really? Tyson's just making trouble again, it seems. Ty did a double take, looking between Sal, Haas, and then finally to me. I wasn't sure what he wanted me to do, and maybe I realized a little too late that he wanted some backup before he bawled, disappearing down the hall. I seemed to be the only one watching where Tyson went, everyone else checking in on Roswell. He was the smallest of the group and the youngest. Okay, that's not good. So maybe there was some obligation to make sure he was okay first. Or maybe it was just that they disliked Tyson that much that they didn't care how he was feeling. There was every chance Ty would be fine given his space, but... Let's go after Tyson, because I don't like it when people are alone. I stood another look at the rest of the group before shaking my head. Even if everyone else thought he was overreacting, he was still upset, and he was my friend. The others could take care of Roswell, so he was in good hands. Tyson, however, was the only reason I knew where he went. It was because I spotted his tail disappearing down the stairs towards the basement. Ty? It was dark, but I noticed him with his arms tightly across his chest, leaning back on one of the walls. He wasn't looking at me, but with how his ears twitched, I could tell he knew I was there. You alright? Yeah. He spat the words out, making me flinch. I took a step back, and he seemed to realize what he did a moment later.
Look, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It means a lot that you followed me, though.
But Ty, was that really the way to react to,
Really?
Really? How did that even come up anyway?
We were talking about... we were actually talking about you, actually.
About me?
Yeah. Doesn't get much about that, but he just made a comment about my tail when you were mentioned.
Your tail?
Yes, my tail. I can't stop it wagging sometimes. Anyway, took a dig at me and called me a happy puppy, then started claiming that canis or whatever thing.
I don't want to take sides, but...
And then you make an excuse for your actual friend figures.
No, just... I want you to get along with everyone. I know it's hard, but... Tyson sighed, rolling his eyes before looking me over. He said nothing at first, but when he did, his tone was level and calm.
Okay, fine. I'll do it for you. But I'm not going to stand for any of that dog nonsense, you hear?
I'll tell Roswell to be more careful in how he jokes around. Promise, so come to lunch, please?
Nah, not hungry anymore. Gonna go work out for a bit, then maybe have a nap.
He ruffled the fur atop my head, shooting me a smile.
I'll be fine, pup. I'll see you at dinner.
Aww. I watched as he headed into the gym and out of sight. Part of me wondered if I should keep him company or head back upstairs. But he said he was fine, and he was usually right. It wasn't the first time he's gotten upset, and we had to talk this out. But he said he was fine, and he was usually right. It wasn't the first time he'd gotten upset, and we'd had this talk, and it probably wasn't going to be the last one. Comfortably, that Ty would be okay eventually. I headed back upstairs for lunch. With the argument behind us for the time being, we got settled at once. With the argument behind us for the time being, we got separated at one end of the table while Orlando ducked into the kitchen to prepare lunch. Orlando brought out a big tray of what seemed to be any sort of sandwich you could imagine. They were only small pieces, almost like finger food. You made all this, Orlando?
It looks good. It looks good. Feel bad that you went through all the trouble given we had a butler.
Oh, don't worry. I really don't mind. Friends just make each other sandwiches, right? I thought that was the wife's job.
Oh my god. Almost immediately, Sal whacked Dean across the back of the head, shooting him a fierce look before going to pick the lettuce out of his sandwich. Wow.
How's everyone been going so far, anyway?
We went around the table sharing what we found, but most of it was pretty tame. Just minor discoveries each of us had made about the place.
Well, I did end up speaking to Benson about the activity. I think you'll like it, with how all over the place we've been. Just as well, too.
Alright. What have you got in mind?
Ready? A scavenger hunt!
Scavenger hunt?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
But why a scavenger hunt?
More importantly, what are we finding?
Well, that's where Benson came in and helped. Turns out that there's a set of medals that once belonged to the people that lived here. Apparently, they got hidden around the place by one of the kids as a prank.
Seriously? Wait, so we're just looking around for stuff that no one else could find?
Well, yes, but Benson also told me to pass on that there's a reward.
Well, alright.
I think I could find a medal or two. What's the reward? Is this gonna be some, like, mystery bullshit or whatever?
I forgot about that. I want to know what the reward first.
Wouldn't that be better as a surprise?
Can't expect us to go wandering around to only get an expired coupon as a prize.
Or just like the second DVD in a B-grade anime. Oh, it's gonna be a long month.
The reward is access to the vault downstairs.
There was silence and a few confused expressions thrown about the table.
Anything of worth we find inside is ours to keep in exchange for the medals. Apparently, they have instant sentimental value to Benson.
Sentimental value? Sure, but to give us whatever's inside the vault, is it good? We looked at one another again before considering what could be inside the vault. Money? Treasure? My mind wandered to what I hoped was beyond the door. Money would be nice, but there was always that saying about it not buying happiness. Treasure would be needs, but wouldn't that just be a different kind of money?
Hold on a moment.
What's wrong, Orlando?
What if he just wants us to find these medals for some sort of ghost ritual thing? Should we help him?
Really? I don't think the medals were for that.
Oh yeah? Then what are they medals of?
The Zodiac actually so...
See? That's totally in the realm of ritual possibility. Think about all the games you play where you have to collect the thing, and then it turns out that the player has a fool for assembling everything for the villain.
Ah, man. Not bad for one take. Sal reached over to Orlando's face and held his mouth shut. He seemed to be gentle, but he sighed and looked back to Roswell. What do they look like?
Well, about that, Benson just said that they had colored ribbon and that they were made of metal. They'd have the signs of Zodiac engraved on them, too.
That's something to go off of? But what color ribbon? What type of metal? Roswell shrugged, shaking his head.
That's all the info Benson was willing to give me.
This has creepy ritual written all over it.
Maybe, but what if it isn't? I've been in your house. You have some strange collections.
Maybe. Let's not get into what sort of things I hoard, Sal. Okay, let's find those medals.
Well, that was a quick turnaround.
I'll take it though.
Did you say horoscopes? If we're talking about signs, that makes 12 in total, right? Cancer, Aquarius. Oh, whoops.
Did you say horoscopes? If we're talking star signs, that makes 12 in total, right? Cancer, Aquarius, Leo, obviously, Aries, Pisces, Tartarus, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, and Gemini.
You just know all those off the top of your head?
Well, it helped that I checked mine on the bus. Normally do, and I picked up a magazine for the drive here.
I suppose that makes sense, but still, is that a normal thing to do?
I know Sal likes checking this. I check mine from time to time, but I don't put a lot of stock into it. They're a bit too vague.
I looked across to Sal, who seemed to be nodding slightly in Dean's direction.
Very true. Can't say that they have a lot of shock in them, but they're fun to at least look at. How about let's tackle the scavenger hunt in Paris and decide tomorrow what those teams will be, right? Why not now? Well, I was hoping we'd all be present. After all, might need all the help we can get in our search, even if that means keeping Tyson in the loop. Even after earlier? Sure that's a wise idea? We get nothing if we only find 11 out of the whole set. As much as I don't like Tyson, we're kinda stuck.
Sheesh. When you put it that way, I guess that makes sense. Are we picking teams out of a hat, or...?
Bigger problem, if we do this in pairs, we're gonna have uneven teams.
Wait, really? I counted those at the table plus Tyson, realizing what he meant. Oh, that's, yeah. What a grub... Oh, that's... Yeah. What about a group of 3?
Could work. A team of 3 might be more of a bother than actual help, though. At least that way no one gets left out.
Assuming everyone wanted to take part, but even then, team that finds the most medals wins, right?
I thought the whole point was to find all of them, and that we get nothing without... I thought the whole point was to find all of them, and that we got nothing without a complete set.
Oh, right. You got me there.
What's with that face of yours? Don't be so dramatic, Jesus.
And then a party for the winners for contributing most of us, getting the full set, falling that we can get ice cream as a consolation prize.
I'm fine with that. I'm not going to turn down free food either.
I'm with you on that one.
We finished off lunch and split to do our own thing. As for me, I figured I'd get a nap in. I collapsed on my bed, trying to get comfortable, but my mind wandered. I was curious about the door downstairs, what was behind it, and if it was worth finding a bunch of medals for. Sitting up, I pulled out my journal and wrote down what happened so far, despite only having been here a couple days. I had a lot on my mind. But despite me writing down everything that was immediately on my mind, the temperature to go downstairs was still there. Oh God. As much as I don't want to go to the vaults, That way we won't progress the story. Taking another look at my journal, I put it back down in my bag before leaving the room. I wandered downstairs, looking to see if anyone was around, but it seemed like everyone was still out doing their own thing. I could hear someone else down there, likely Tyson in the gym, but I was intent on heading to the door that had gotten me so curious. Alright, let's see.
Error. Password invalid.
Seemed like didn't like what I put in. No surprise, really. Could it be numbers related?
Error. Password invalid.
1985. One more time. God. With no other ideas, I headed back to my room. Once I settled into my room, I must have fallen asleep at some point. The bed was comfier than I could give credit for. The only reason I woke up was because I heard knocking on my door. I looked at my phone to check the time. It was too early for dinner, but maybe something had happened. Come in. Roswell opened the door and wandered inside, hand rummaging around in a bag of jelly beans before shoving a handful in his mouth.
Hi, Dave. What are you up to?
Was asleep. Not that I meant to. What about you? Snack time?
Oh, nothing. Just checking in. Want some jelly beans?
I shook my head, rolling over, so I was sitting on the side of the bed with Roswell coming closer to join me. He put the jelly beans away, bumping me gently on the arm.
So, any ideas on who you want to partner up with for the scavenger hunt? I'm honestly happy with whoever has a partner. I just think this will give us a good chance to learn more about each other.
I think I'm kinda in the same boat. We're all friends, but I guess it's different when you're living with someone, right?
Well, I guess this is a close analog for that, sure. Plus, who knows, maybe doing so well lets someone romance blossom.
Oh my god. I chuckled, shaking my head to him. I thought it was bad enough that Orlando was planning. I chuckled, shaking my head to him. I thought it was bad enough that Orlando was playing wingman, but who knows what Roswell and Orlando have been discussing at this point. That was why you wanted us to pair up.
Not really, but it could happen. A lot can happen in a month after all.
Well, that's true. What about you?
Huh?
Who are you hoping to partner up with?
I mean, it becomes less of a game if you don't rightly get along with who you're paired with. Beyond that, I don't think I mind.
I frowned, immediately feeling as though he was taking a jab at Tyson, but there really wasn't anyone that could pair up with Tyson if everyone felt the same as Roswell. Except for me, that is.
I get the feeling that, say, Dean and Haas may not get along as much as they seem fairly laid back. Or even like Sal and Haas, given one's likes water and the other, well...
Now, it just sounds like you're being racist. But maybe you're right. Oh my god. Are we really gonna do this? Are we really gonna do this?
Oh, I really didn't mean it for it to come across that way. Really, I just know Haas doesn't like the pool because of the chlorine.
I guess that makes sense.
I'm sure it'll work out right.
They're all reasonable people, deep down, I'm sure. My mind wandered over to my interaction with Benson for some reason. Maybe Roswell would know more about him to make him seem less creepy. Oh yeah, I was meaning to ask you about Benson. Does he seem odd to you?
Odd how?
I mean, like, it's kind of creepy when you're in the same room as him, or maybe it was just tiredness getting to me.
Probably the tiredness. I haven't noticed anything odd. If I do, I'll let you know, though.
I nodded slowly, trying to convince myself that it was all in my head.
Normally, when I do, though, I kind of wish I could save the game when I wake up just in case something happens, like in a video game.
Roswell, I'm starting to question you. A whole lot. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to even be your partner.
It's a little childish. I know I could put... It's a little childish. I know I put it down to hanging around with Orlando a little too much. But hey, the reinsurance would be nice if I could get to do the all day if I could... But hey, the reinsurance would be nice if I could get to do the day over if I screwed up.
We both laughed it off, me shaking my head at how Roswell continued to giggle at his joke long before I stopped.
Well, I should continue on checking on the others until dinner. Probably should tell Tyson about the scavenger hunt too, or ask Snell if he could do it.
Nah, don't worry, I'll fill him in at dinner. It'll be easier that way.
Alright, I'll leave you to it then. See you at dinner.
With a spring in his step, Roswell left, closing the door behind him. Saving the game, huh? Oh my god. The rest of the afternoon was uneventful, and I spent most of it contemplating what Roswell had said. How often does he have had? The rest of the afternoon was uneventful, and I spent most of it contenting what Roswell had said. How often does he have bad enough feelings to want have a do-over? When the dinner bell rang, we all made our way to the dining room.
A scavenger hunt, huh?
Given what happened at lunch, Tyson was sitting by himself at one end of the table while everyone huddled around the other end. It was almost like seating arrangements at a high school cafeteria. Oh my god.
Tell you what, I'll think about it. Not normally my thing, but I can sleep on it, yeah.
Yeah, teams are being decided tomorrow.
Alright, I'll see how it goes in the morning. Thanks for filling me in.
I watched as Tyson scoffled the rest of his meal before leaving without another word. Seemed as though things were still stinging from earlier, or at least that was my guess. The rest of the meal was uneventful, the rest of us just idly catching before heading off to bed. Whatever the reason, all of us found ourselves groggy and wanting sleep. Man, I'm beat. I checked my phone, and when it was still relatively early, I considered messaging one of the guys or even just wandering on my own to their room to see if they wanted to do anything. But given how tired everyone seemed, I decided against it for now. I showered and jumped into bed, sleep finding me fairly quick. As I lay in my bed, though, I wondered about what tomorrow would bring. Did we have any chance of finding those medals? Will we just get bored of it eventually? Not that there was any shortage of things to do around here if we stopped looking. Alright, we are going to end this episode of Password here. I don't have a plan for the next 4 months, but since I said before, my classes are almost done, and since I'm going to have a lot more free time, I will do my best to make as many videos as I can through May through August. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment,
and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. Until next time, this was Buddy Bear 83.